Pramod, always a pleasure. 6 months back, I had the pleasure of interviewing you in Delhi, and now we are at the Haas Business School, Berkeley.
Right.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Pramod, you are a well-regarded, well-recognized leader, and no better person than you to ask this, that when India is competing at a global stage, before we get into the entrepreneurship question, because India is so young and so vibrant, how do we prepare our young generation to compete as the world's dominant workforce?
Yes. So I think it's the biggest question in front of us. We have a demographic dividend that is unprecedented. And unless we train them and show them how to compete, we will miss the biggest opportunity the world has given us by giving us, what is effectively 30% of the world's workforce, right? Which country has such natural resources in such abundance? But I have huge hope, and I'll explain why. One, technology is becoming more ubiquitous. While people worry about technology, I think we embrace it. We've seen technology always create more opportunity, not take away. Computers were meant to take away jobs. Automation was meant to do this. Digitization was meant to do that. This is fear-mongering, which is completely devoid of any data or previous historical evidence of what the impact of technology truly has been. So that's one big point that I always make. Two, the ability to learn technology is getting easier. So, there's a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence, there's a lot of discussion about virtual reality, but actually deploying these technologies is actually becoming easier. It's simpler. It's simpler to build a new platform. I'm working with a new finance company, NBFC in India, the former G Capital businesses, and we're finding that we can build a platform for ourselves in 6 to 9 months, which earlier I would have taken 2 years to do. Now India can do that. And Indian workers can be trained on that fairly well, and if the government won't help, certainly I know Indian companies will grab that opportunity and train them up. So I think the threat of technology is overblown in many cases. Will it take away X number of jobs? Yes, it will probably take away 20, 30% of jobs in the IT industry or the BPO industry. But I would imagine that if I go back and think about the type of work that we were doing at Genpact in '97 versus what they're probably doing now, I'm not associated with them anymore. I suspect that work has already changed by more than 40%.
Sure.
Does that mean we've grown less? No, we've grown faster. And the value add you can therefore deliver is actually greater. And therefore the profitability you should be able to make, the revenue per employee, all of those things will go up. Redundant error correction type of work should disappear. It's a good thing. And then our young people can focus on real jobs.
So when you started this, there were ad hoc companies doing outsourcing, in the mid-90s. Then you came and you defined the whole process and whole culture changed.
Yes.
A lot of youth got, good jobs at the time, much more than what their parents were making, and they had a lot more expendable income.
Yes.
But those jobs have moved on to other countries because India is moving up the value chain.
Yes.
Where do you think is the next wave when you take technology like this? Adoption of technology is getting very inexpensive.
Right.
But there is also human resource which needs to be trained, and more so ethically, if I may use that word, because a rush of capital is a big issue for young people. So how do we then balance and show them that, hey guys, if you wait and focus and learn and be patient, you have a lot more to gain?
Yes. I think what is interesting is that in the past, technology was really used to build technology industries and to build the Microsofts, the Infosys, even the Genpact, which was not so technology but business process, but we used an enormous amount of technology within that. Today, technology can be used in countries like India across all industries. So the opportunity will broaden, and that's what I love about technology. So you can use artificial intelligence to diagnose medical patients. Now, it is the only way we will solve India's healthcare problems. It's not going to be solved by producing 5 times the doctors, 10 times the hospitals, all of that. That will take forever. So you can use it for that. You can use it for agriculture. You can use it for fertilizers. You can use it for housing. You can use 3D printers. So I think the opportunity that it will create is unprecedented. Financial inclusion has just brought 150 million more people into bank accounts and allowed them to participate in the economy in a way they couldn't. products that we make now, certainly in my new company that I'm working with called Clix, which is the former G Capital, as I said, we want to go global with these products. We want to do them in emerging economies. So if there's payroll lending that happens, if there's unsecured lending based on analytics and algorithms and artificial intelligence, all of this is stuff I can now do. So for me, I look around this, and every time I read the newspapers and they're talking about the threat to jobs, and I go home and I talk about artificial intelligence to experts, and I realize the opportunity. And I'm saying there's something missing in the middle here. And the fact is, technology will create opportunity. I have enormous faith, and it's not faith born just of faith, because I love India, etc., etc. The youth is inquisitive, they're curious, they're looking for jobs, they're looking for opportunity. They will grab it. And I think once they start grabbing it, and once we learn how to be more global, I think we can do an enormous amount of change in products.
So if you look at the last decade, there were 50-50, the investors who wanted to come from India invest.
Yes.
Half were very positive, half were not so sure. So those who bet, they got some good returns,
right.
Some of them didn't.
Right.
Now the next wave is happening. So the question is, what is the advice for younger entrepreneurs who always aspire and look up to Silicon Valley, both for innovation and investments?
Absolutely.
But innovation is also happening at a much cheaper price within India, if you want to look at it.
Absolutely.
And investment is also happening with local money. So what is your advice there?
So, 2 or 3 advice. India is going to be a hard place to do business. It's not going to get easier suddenly in 10 years. It's just as there's an embedded base of administration, rules, red tapeism, culture, which keeps getting in the way. That same limitation creates opportunity. I would encourage everybody, stop copying, leapfrog. Vinod Khosla just said that here. 2, find local solutions. Find local people to work with local solutions, because local solutions sell. So if you think about traditional companies, the most successful companies in India are all local companies.
Right.
It's not multinationals, right? By the way, this is the same story played out in every country in the world. In Germany, Siemens and Volkswagen and Audi and Mercedes are successful, not the others, right? In America, it's American companies. Scandinavia, it's a natural progression. So one, let's focus on how have these companies found local solutions with local talent. Use local talent. Don't bring homegrown solutions from outside and plant them in India and say, this is how it should work. It's a different country. It never works anywhere else in the world. You will have problems, but never give up. You will find solutions. You will have problems of scale. The biggest issue for many of them is time. You think you're going to get from A to B in 2 years and it takes you 4.
Right.
That kind of a gap is now being bridged by broadband, by financial inclusion, and I think figuring out how to use that will allow us a lot of opportunity. And lastly, I would tell people, certainly get every example you can from Silicon Valley, but the problems that we need to solve in India are not necessarily, in my view, about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 venture capital funding. It's about marketing and operations, and how do I build a business, and how do I build an organization, what do I do? And I think we must learn those lessons.
Thank you. It's wonderful always.
My
I appreciate
pleasure.
that so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.